Welcome into the DePaud, a DePaul Hoops podcast brought to you by Homefield. Go check out homefieldapparel.com now and use promo code DePaud at checkout on your first order and get 15% off. Go check out homefieldapparel.com today and pick up some brand new DePaul gear to get ready for the season at homefieldapparel.com. On today's show, we've got a jam-packed show. Originally, we were going to have this in two shows, but figured I'd put them all together. We've got DePaul great Drake Diener, and we have current DePaul superstar hurdler Darius Brown. So before we get into that, we'll talk a little bit about some things currently going on in the DePaul universe. So let's jump right into it, Blue Demon Nation.
Look to his shot.
Spins, fade away. Yes, sirree! Chandler hits the three.
Oh, tough shot. Giving it up to Reed.
Welcome into the DePaul Hoops podcast brought to you by Homefield. Go to homefieldapparel.com today and use promo code DePaud at checkout for 15% off your first order. Get ready for the season. Get one of these shirts here. Go pick up a sweatshirt. They have new hats out at homefieldapparel.com and use promo code DePaud at checkout for 15% off your first order. On today's show, we've got Drake Diener, we've got Darius Brown, and we've got a lot to talk about because we are 31 days away from a new basketball season. November 4th, DePaul kicks off their season. They do have Indiana Wesleyan as an exhibition before that, but the official start is November 4th, and we got a lot to talk about. Since we last spoke, Alderman Knudsen approved the plan for DePaul's practice facility. It's a great day. It's going to be a great day once that facility's up. It's a great day, though. It was a great day when he made that official announcement. Now there's bureaucratic red tape that they have to go through with the Chicago City Council, but all systems go at this point for DePaul's brand new practice facility. It's an exciting time to be a DePaul Blue Demon fan. New coach, new team, and pretty soon we'll have a new practice facility that'll help us attract and make the student athletes' lives a lot better, where they can practice on campus whenever they want, amongst other things. And that facility is going to be beautiful, right across the street on Sheffield Avenue from the athletic center, the current athletic center, which was redone too. So there's a lot of that if you're in Lincoln Park and able to get to some of those games, volleyball is currently in season, and you could go and check out the brand newly renovated facilities. While we're on the subject of the new facility, Dwayne had put out a post 6 days ago when this happened. This project has long been a shared dream for many. DePaul Athletics is grateful for 43rd Ward Alderman Timmy Knudsen's continued partnership and leadership in bringing our university's vision to reality. Throughout every phase, we have remained committed to engaging our Lincoln Park and university community, ensuring their voices are heard and feedback is incorporated whenever possible. We look forward to maintaining that engagement as we move into the next exciting stage of this project. If you haven't already seen the mock-ups for the new facility, I encourage you to go check them out. Just beautifully done. It's gonna look great. It's gonna be a gem there in Lincoln Park, and hopefully it'll help attract some more talent to DePaul because it'll make the lives of these student athletes a lot easier. And on top of that, it's just gonna look so cool on the inside, just from what I've seen and what they've done already with the Sullivan Athletic Center and McGrath Phillips Arena over there. Just beautifully done, great architectural work, and we're really excited. I'm really excited, I should say, to have that project on its way and moving forward towards the end goal of having that facility. I think it's 2026 is when that'll be up and running and operational. So 31 days till the season kicks off. I have done a couple different preview shows with other creators here. So I encourage you to go check them out. There'll be one with the Big East Bar Room that'll come out soon, and then another one that just came out with Psychic Hoops. So go check those out. I encourage you to check them out. They're really good people that I got to join and talk to DePaul basketball with. So go check them out. With that said, let's jump into our interviews. First up, we'll have Drake Diener, played for DePaul back in the early 2000s, and then we'll follow that up with Darius Brown. So let's go. All right, on today's show we've got Drake Diener, DePaul great, and welcome in. Now he's head coach at Marian University up in Fond du Lac.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, Coach?
Really good. I'm happy to be here. I've watched some of the stuff online, and I'm enjoying them all.
No, I appreciate you taking the time, and looking forward to getting into a few things here. So, as we start here, what back in the day when you were making your decision to go to DePaul or considering other schools, what was it about Chicago and DePaul that had you or made you want to commit here and go to school here?
Yeah, I think, well, at the time, it was a really exciting time for DePaul. It was right after kind of my going into my senior year was right after Quinn Richardson's sophomore year. You know, that they were in the national tournament. Obviously, that was his last year at DePaul. So there was a great amount of excitement around the program at the time. And then obviously the history of it, you know, I was very aware of the history of DePaul and how great they were in the 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s. You know, I grew up in a family of a basketball family. Okay, my dad was a high school basketball coach, and he had a traditionally really good program. So I think, you know, being drawn to a program with great tradition was kind of, I think, in my DNA, and that was definitely attractive to me at the time.
Yeah, I know, and your whole family. We'll get into this here a little bit. You know, you went up against your cousin Travis when he was at Marquette, and you know, famous or maybe infamously, there was a shirt. I won't reference it fully, but it was factually correct. You were taller. You were taller than your cousin Travis.
Yeah.
What did you know? Obviously, now looking back on it. Did you guys did you have one of those shirts? Did you guys get a kick out of it?
I think I still do have one of those in storage somewhere, but no, those were obviously really fun times to be able to compete against each other. I shouldn't even say they were fun. It wasn't really that fun, actually. I mean, there was, you know, when we beat them, there was a sense of relief, actually. It wasn't like I was really that happy. It was just like, you know, my first 2 years playing against them, we were 0-4, and that aligned with when they had D Wade. So, you know, I say, you know, once you lost D Wade, we split the game. So we were 2-2 against each other without, you know, one of the all-time greatest to ever do it. So, but yeah, that was a fun time. You know, we had both programs were, you know, trying to win conference titles at the time. So it was an interesting time, especially with the shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you were at DePaul, and you got, you know, you said you split with your cousin when he was at Marquette, and 72 wins in your time with DePaul's program. What's your vision as far as like how would DePaul get back to that and to that kind of success in 4 years?
Yeah, I've given that a lot of thought, obviously, over the years, because I've still followed DePaul and what's been going on, and obviously it's been a struggle for the past however many years. And it's tough to say because the blueprint obviously has changed quite a bit. You know, it's just such a different landscape. So it's really hard to say, like, you know, the years that we had that were pretty good, how do you get back to that? Because you can't really look at what we did necessarily and say, hey, let's replicate that because it's just so different. But, when I look at and I follow obviously what's been going on recently, and I think, I'm excited about the group that they got in there now in terms of the coaching staff and a lot of the players. I think one of the things that's really intriguing about their team this year is just how they brought in a bunch of guys who can really shoot the ball. And I think that when you're trying to build a team and you're trying to put pieces together, they got a brand new team, so that's a challenge. But when you got a bunch of guys who can really shoot it, that gives you a leg up and makes you pretty dangerous right away. And I think the pieces, without really knowing intimately what they have from an outsider's perspective, I think the team building maybe is a little bit better than, it's hard every year to just go to the transfer portal and keep bringing in new guys because the pieces don't always fit. But, again, from an outsider's perspective, the pieces seem to look like they might fit a little bit better here early on here for this year's team. But again, it's a struggle when you got brand new guys all the time. And so, I don't have a great answer for it. I think they're going to find it, though. I have a lot of confidence in that.
No, definitely. And you talk about shooting. That was one thing that you excelled in, and your time at DePaul and then overseas as well. 46% your senior year, 45.9, somewhere like right around 46, your junior year. What was that like to just be able to walk up to the 3-point line and basically make it?
Yeah, I mean, I was always known as a shooter. I grew up. My dad was a coach, so we spent a lot of time doing it, and I think we knew that our skill set was going to have to be what carried us as basketball players. So, I took a lot of great shots. My shot selection was probably, I think looking back, my shot selection was too good. I probably should have taken some more shots. And in today's day and age, I definitely would have. But, we played a pretty efficient brand of ball, and we were able to create some open looks. And obviously that was a part of my my role for our teams was to knock down open shots. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in being able to do that, and I still do.
Back in the day, could you dunk?
Come on.
Nah, hey.
So I had one career dunk at DePaul.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So, one career dunk. It was at home. It's at All-State against Marquette, so it was a good time to get one. But yeah. I mean, I should take this computer. I should take this computer out to the gym right now and set it up. I mean, I'm 42. I can still dunk.
That's great. So what? So let's ask this question then. If you could, is like what would you see in your mind as more exciting of a play? Just being completely wet from three for a game, or being able to just posterize your opponent?
Well, for me, because you're probably gonna pick the more rare one. Like for a guy who's a big time dunker, he would probably say, he'd really remember a game where he hit 3 threes. But for me, I think I probably remember that dunk a little more fondly than like making a bunch of shots. But I think it's just based on the person.
So saying that you can still dunk at 42, I'm assuming you're still completely just lights out from three then as well.
Yeah, I mean I just spent a lot of I played for a long time, so like I spent a ton of time on basketball. It's like and shooting becomes
almost
even if you don't, once you get to a point, I think you don't really lose it. But I still being a basketball coach now and having access to a gym all the time and being in the gym, I'm steps away from a shooting machine out there. So sometimes, I might be on my way to the copy machine, but if I see that shooting gun set up, I'm going to find myself in there for about 20 and getting a couple hundred shots up.
That's awesome. So let's talk about your career overseas, playing professional ball. 12-year career, pretty successful as well. 3-point shooting champion a couple times, MVP of the Italian League. And then also a champion in 2008. What was that like playing in Italy? And, people tend to, look at overseas ball and not maybe look down on it. But as more NBA players are being fed from those leagues. What is it about playing overseas that really just is different than playing in the U.S.?
I think for me it was like I went over there and it was a really great brand of basketball for me immediately. I was basically probably played at DePaul at the tail end of, and not just for DePaul but for everybody, at the tail end of like when you play with two bigs. You'd play with guys who are right around the basket, and there wasn't that much spacing all the time. And now that's since changed. I think some of that change maybe is a trickle over from some of the European stuff. So like the timing of me going overseas to play, it was just a really good brand of ball for me, like because there's a lot more spacing, a lot more passing. I mean, just a more fluid game that I got accustomed to, or it was easy transition for me because my game was based on my skill set, being able to pass, shoot, and dribble, and again, back in that kind of era where you're playing with a lot of bigs and there's maybe a lot more physicality, then going to to play in Europe where it's a little more fluid and the ball was moving and you had more space. That was a good transition for me. And I, obviously there's a lot that goes in, a lot that I could say about my career overseas in terms of the experience I had living overseas, all my great teammates and coaches, and all the kind of memories I have. It was a great 12 years, and it wasn't always great. I had great experiences, I had great wins, but you go through some tough times. It's not a piece of cake over there because there's not typically long-term contracts and there's not any real guarantees. Like you got to produce, or they will send you packing. So. It's a pressurized situation. They're long seasons, but I really, really enjoyed the overall. I loved it.
No, that's great. Yeah, with especially like playing at a high, you were playing in the tier 1 of Italy, and I can imagine just FIBA basketball is completely different, and like you said, we're seeing that come over to the States now and becoming more of a shooter's game versus big men. So let's talk a little bit about your teammates at DePaul, and maybe even overseas. I spoke with Sammy Mejia a little while ago, and I asked him about music, and he said, honestly, I really liked country music because of Drake Diener. Like he got me into that. So what was something maybe that Sammy or some of the other guys got you into that would probably be not expected?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of much. Sammy and I had a great relationship. Obviously, come from two totally different places, but we had a lot in common in terms of I think we had some of the same sensibilities. We had the same, we both had big families and loved our families and things like that. So we got along well, and I think we got along well on the floor as well. I think we had some of the same thoughts on how to play basketball, unselfishly good. I think we were both good passers. We could kind of do some of the same things. So, yeah, but no, I mean, we had it was a amazing turnaround for us, from my freshman year. My sophomore year, we had a nice little turnaround where we ended up making the NIT and had a solid season. But then to my junior year, where it kind of all came together, and that was Sammy's freshman year. My junior year, Andre Brown's a senior, and Delonte Holland was a senior. So we had a really good group of guys in terms of our talent, and then Coach Leto was I think the exact type of coach that we needed at the time to just kind of be. I mean, I don't know how much everyone knows about Coach Leto, but he's a hard-nosed coach, and there was not much nonsense put up with. So that was, I think, exactly what we needed to have a quick turnaround from what was kind of a disaster my freshman year.
Sure. No, definitely. A little bit more about your teammates, and in games, everyone trash talks and things like that. That's kind of a part of the game. But who was maybe someone you went up against, maybe a teammate? Who was like the biggest trash talker that you played against or was on your team?
Man, I'm trying to think if we had many. I mean, I don't think guys would. trying to think if Delonte talked much. Maybe he did a little bit, but like, um, you know, I remember if you remember the guy at Louisville, Francisco Garcia, I think
Yeah.
he talked a little bit, but he was like a good natured guy too. It wasn't like bad news. The team that, and I'm not even saying that they talked a lot, but the team that was like had like some bravado about them was always Cincinnati. And we had some good battles with them. We won some big games against them, and they beat us sometimes. But they had some great talent and some toughness. Like guys like Jason Maxiel and Eric Hicks were just two of the toughest dudes that you'd play against. And then they had athletes too, like James White played there, and like guys like Field Williams. They had some really good teams and played with a lot of bravado. I don't know that I remember a whole lot of trash talking, but like they had that vibe about them.
Certainly. No, definitely. I remember this was after your time, but Cincinnati with Mick Cronin was always a circled game on the schedule. So
Yeah.
okay, so let's talk about what you're doing now. You're up at Marian University in Fond du Lac. You took over for a coach that had been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
What's it like now building your legacy and building the team to what your standards are?
Yeah. It's funny to use the word standards because that's something that, my guys just moved on, or we just started school here this past week, and that's one of the things we hammered on was what the standard we have to live up to. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's just up in my hometown, so it was an easy transition for me when Coach Boyle, who was the previous coach here, retired after 30 years. It was right around the time where I was playing overseas, and I could have probably played one more year. I mean, I know I could have, but it was kind of getting to the point where it was becoming not quite as fun. I was probably slowing down a little bit and had some injuries my last year. So it was like, it's probably time to move on. But then this opportunity presented itself, and I was I was blessed with a really smooth transition here. And it's been, I just finished my 6th year, and it's been, gosh, we've had kind of a lot of different experiences. My first couple of years, we weren't very good. Then we had 2 really good years where we won our conference tournament, played the national tournament. And then we had the next year got the first regional ranking in school history. So we had 2 really, really good years in a row, and we kind of graduated everybody. Last year was a kind of a rebuild. So we're now this next year, we got some guys returning that I think are good players. We got, I think, a solid recruiting class, really good kids. So, for us, it's the same as like kind of what I referred to with DePaud this year is like when you're adding a lot of new guys all the time, it's a matter of how quickly you can get them to mesh, and we don't have any opportunity in the summer to get these guys in here and work together. So you kind of got to hit the ground running with them, when we're able to start practice. But it's been really fun, even when we've been losing. Last year was a struggle for us, and I can't say it was fun in the moment, but I do look at it as a challenge. It really tests you, and there's something about me that I genuinely like it. That we got to figure out if we can get through this or not, and so I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy trying to win games and trying to figure out how to beat people that maybe we shouldn't if we don't have the greatest team. But again, it was when you do reach the heights, or when you do reach your goal, which we did, like I said, a couple of years ago, and we played in the national tournament. There's I feel like we've talked a lot about some of the stuff I did as a player, but there was no feeling like getting it done as a coach, really, because you bring your own group of guys together and they get it done for you, and there's nothing like it.
Oh, that's great. No, I look forward to following along and seeing how Marian does throughout the year this season. I do. We're basketball through and through here in my family, so we'll
Beautiful.
definitely try to take in some games as we can. But
Beautiful.
it's been a good time. Thanks for spending the time. One last question: if you can find a hole in your schedule, will we get you down to Wintrust sometime this season?
Yeah, I haven't been down there in a while. We played an exhibition there actually a couple of years ago, which I was thankful to get. That was an awesome experience for our guys. But yeah, I would love to get down. I haven't been. I used to be able to get down every summer, and not necessarily to a game, but like go check out the athletic center and see a lot of the same people that were there when I was there. And obviously, I've met Dwayne Peavy. I've met a lot of the people around. So I just got to find time to get down. I'd more likely be able to do that than try to find a time in the middle of winter. But yeah, I got to get down. Obviously, I'm following all the great improvements they've made on campus. And I think, I hate to say it because, the DePaul faithful have been asked to be patient for a long time, and you can't really say it anymore because it's like how faithful, how patient can people be? But um, I think there's enough there. I think there's reason for a ton of optimism right now, and I'm real hopeful.
Oh, great. And yeah, we'll when you're down in Chicago, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. So thanks
Yeah.
again for
All
your
right.
time,
Sounds
coach.
good.
All
I
right.
appreciate you having me. Thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Welcome in today, Darius Brown, DePaul star hurdler for track and field. Thanks for taking the time today, Darius. I appreciate you joining me.
No problem. No problem. It's a pleasure.
Uh, yeah, no, it's great. It was a fun season last year watching you from indoor to then outdoor season. Talk a little bit about how first team All American in indoor 60 meter hurdles. Talk a little bit about that and then that experience going to the national championship regionals and then semifinals, I think.
Yes, sir. Olympic semifinals. Yes, sir. So it's funny because my sophomore year, I started to develop a good start and I ran 780. And I'm like, okay, we getting somewhere at the start because in high school and like when I came into college, my start was terrible. So it was the first meet of December, and I was like, they was gonna let me run. It's like almost like this year, and I was like, nah, coach, let me run hurdles. Let me run hurdles. I think I feel something coming. And then boom, I run 771. Like that's point oh eight faster than my PR. Like I was just like, oh shoot, like this is what we doing this year. And then we get down to crunch time. I would say it's actually conference. And I looked the night before and I'm like, oh, I'm like one spot outside of nationals. Like I gotta run something high. And at that point I've ran 768. So we get to conference and I bust out a 763, which is my PR right now. And I looked up, I was ninth going into nationals, and me and my coach and coach was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm going to NCAA Nationals for indoor, and they only take 16 people out of the whole Division One NCAA, which
That's
is
crazy.
was insane.
Yeah. No,
So
but
then
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
you're good. And then we get there, and it's time for me to run. We run it. This is in Boston, Massachusetts, at the New Balance track. We get there. It's the first round, and I would say it's probably the most nervous I've ever felt in my life. Like I've been on a big stage. Like last year, I went to USA's before them, but like that right there was insane. Plus the track malfunctioned, so they couldn't get the bank down for us to run. So I was just sitting there for like 20 minutes. Like, all right, like keep composure. Like we still gotta run the race. And then ended up matching my PR and then making the finals. And I just say I just broke down because I was like, I've been through so much, and just me being here, just as short as I am, but I'm only 5'9", just being here with all these other hurdlers, establishing my name in DePaul history, NCAA history, and then come back, maybe not running my best race in the final, still seventh place, NCAA first team All American, just going on top of that podium and getting that trophy just meant so much to me. And I've always dreamed of getting one of those trophies, and I finally got one, and I'm not stopping there.
Nah, that's great. Let's. So you're getting ready for these big runs, and what like what's going through your head? Like what's either getting you to the finish line, pun intended, or what's really getting you amped up to to block out any of the noise and just execute.
I really just say so when like if you see me around and all that, I'm a pretty particular goofy person. Like, oh, he jokes here, jokes that. Like I'll joke at practice sometimes, but like when it comes to a meet, it's like people just see like another like a switch. Like, oh, he's not talking. Like I warm up an hour and 30. Most people don't do that unless like I do that. I don't talk. I have my headphones in, probably one song on repeat. Like, and then once I get in the blocks, all the nerves go away and say, it's another day in the office. Just go out here and run the best race you can possibly. And whatever the outcome is that day, it might not be the outcome you want. We still gotta progress after that. How can we look at that video? How can we do that? Like I feel like it's just another day at the office. We train so much for it in the fall, in the summer, every day. It's just like we try to perfect something just to shave off maybe point oh one, point one, and I feel like I do a good job at that.
Oh, that's awesome. And then So last year, going into outdoor season, coming off of that big high of finishing as a first team All American in an indoor. What was your mentality like going into the outdoor season last year? What was that? What was your goal? Because it ended up really, you ended really well, and we'll get there. But talking here, but what was your goal going into the season for outdoor season last year?
I would say I wanted to win it all. Like just like indoor, I wanted to win it all, just like that. And I would say I had a good start because we went down to Texas my first meet, and I actually broke my PR. It's okay, cool. And then I had an okay race, like okay, and we're still close to my PR what it was. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a fun year. I really just like broke my PR indoor by 0.17. So I was like, oh, what's gonna happen outdoor? Like 0.17 could translate a lot. So
Depending
what
on the
happened?
wind and all that, yeah.
Yes, and then okay, so I would say what happened was I would say I started thinking about time a little bit too much, like during like the middle part of outdoor season. So it started, okay, I gotta run this, I gotta run that, which didn't help because I would have the perfect races, but I would hit one hurdle and it just messed up the whole race. Like I did it Illinois, I ran 1370 something, and I literally like caved. Like I literally went down like this in between a hurdle and still won the race and went back up like this over the last hurdle. And I was just sitting there like me and my coach looking at each other like, dang, like it's just little stuff. And that's what we always say, hurdles is little stuff. You can hit a hurdle. It depends on how you hit it. It's just like it could really just affect you really badly. But I would say usually they set me a time to peak. And this year my coach was like, okay, we're gonna make you peak like NCAA's like close post Olympic like Olympic trials. So conference rolls around and I only run 13.9 to win conference. And that was my slowest time of the year, and that was scary. I was like, okay, cool. Like I haven't ran 13.9 since I've actually never ran 13.9. So I was really shocked. It's that's weird. But then I told my coach, okay, it's fine. We just gonna win so it's like it don't matter, it's conference, you won. Let's go double. And that's what I did. I did double in the 400 hurdles that day, and then came back and got second in the 4x4 and 4x1, which has always been a blessing. Happy to get all the medals. And then we get to regionals. So we get to regionals in Arkansas. Didn't have a great time my freshman year there. I did go to regionals my freshman year there. Didn't place as well as I did this year. So I was just like, all right, same track, same all that, different mindset. I'm gonna go in there. At that time, I'm looking at all the stuff on TFRS. Oh, I'm not top ranked. Like, oh, I'm not in the top 12 for the region, all that. Okay, cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's about who shows up. Good thing about track I love. It's about who shows up that day. Everybody can have a bad week, good week. It depends how you show up on the same day. So first round, boom, PR, 1356. Okay, make next round. I'm waiting until 12 o'clock because they didn't post the heat sheets yet until 12 until the meet was over with. I'm scrolling. I'm like, okay. What's the heat sheets? I would arguably say they put me in the hardest heat known to man to make NCAAs. And it's only top two from each heat. Top three from each heat. And the year before that, I literally missed NCAAs by one spot outdoors. And actually, if it went by time, I was a 12th time, and that 12th time makes it. But the dude got third in his heat, like a heat before me, and he ran a slower time, but he still made it because he got third. So he knocked me out. He was like 15th, I was 12th. So I was like, we're not doing that this year. So we get in the blocks, didn't worry about nobody in my heat. Ran 13:42. That was just the emotion. I think that's probably one of my best races. Just the emotion, the state. Like I see my name pop up second. I'm going somewhere that most people don't get to do. Like it was a dream. I was like, okay, this is real now. Like we're doing this. Like we got to college thinking, okay, Coach Dope, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna take me here, take me there, and we're doing that now. Only as a junior. Like I still got a whole another year to do that. And then so we get to NCAA's Oregon. Then actually, yeah, then I run a PR, a win PR, legal PR.
Yep.
Ran 13:52. Missed the final by 2 spots, like 0.04. Okay, fine. I wasn't mad. I was just like, okay, this is some stuff to fix. And I fixed it. And I was like, okay, cool. Then we had to wait because our auto queue for Olympic trials was 13:50. and I ran 13:52 with the right amount of wind. So I'm okay, cool. I'm scared. Like I'm not gonna make Olympic trials and all that. So my coach's like, okay, don't worry about it, Darius. You'll make it. You'll be fine. Like just relax. So we just continue to practice all week, and then we finally got the news that I was going to Olympic trials, and I was just that's just something I've watched before. I've done watched the Olympics. Like the fact that I get a chance to even compete or try to go to the Olympics for the USA it was just insane. Like I wouldn't even say I was yeah, no, I was stuck. I was just so shocked. I was like, oh, this is real. Like that was crazy.
uh, incredible spirit. It's really fun. It's really fun to see track athletes and talk to track and field athletes, because it's a team sport, but it's so individual. And
Mhm.
obviously in the college setting, right? Like
Yes.
you're all competing for points to win for the team, but you all have like such individual personalities that are booming personalities, and it's great to like be able to have you on here and talk to you about that and get that personality out. This year, what's the plan, what's the goal, and what are you hoping for out of this season, because you already have a Big East championship?
Yes, sir.
So what's next?
I think this year for NCAA, I want to win it all this year. This is the year I got my feet wet last year. Got seventh place. Some of them are leaving, some of them are staying, but I feel confident in my ability to gain progress, drop my times, and I want to win it all this year. Like I don't care who stands in my way, and I also want my team to be there with me. I want to be on that 4x4. I want to be there at national with them. Like I feel like this year as a team, we look really good, and the season ain't even started yet. Like the people Coach Dopix brought in, we're bringing in a new coach. I feel like this year is just is for it all, and then I think this year's Tokyo 25 for Worlds. I will plan on running at the meet to try to qualify for Worlds this year too. So it's just I would say a big year for me for track and field, because it's the year after decides what I'm gonna do after college. Am I gonna run pro or something else?
No, that'll be a fun it'll be a fun year to watch you perform and compete. So let's talk about how you ended up in Chicago. I know I did this a little backwards here, but talk about how you ended up in Chicago, Louisville, Kentucky. You came up to Chicago, came to DePaul. What was that recruiting process like, and how did you make your decision to come to Chicago?
So it's funny because my junior year is gonna be my big year. Like, okay, cool. I ran 14:48 my sophomore year of high school, and that news out the blue. Like, I was running 15s like out of nowhere. Like, I didn't think I was gonna be like, okay, like I'm gonna take track seriously. After that, I took track seriously because we went to New Balance Nationals, and I thought I was the top of the podium, like all that. I got spanked my sophomore year, and I was like, oh, there's actually faster people out here than me. Like, okay, cool, like all that. But came back junior year, COVID hit, so then I was really hard on my recruiting because I don't know what I would have ran my junior year. I ran 1380 my senior year, like before I came here, and that was with a year off. Like I'm gonna say a year off, but like a year like where we couldn't really train together or nothing, train hurdles. Like I had to bring a hurdle outside of like my house just to hurdle, just like practice. So I had to DM all the coaches on Twitter, and I had to start sending emails. So that's what I started doing. And one of the coaches for DePaul actually hit me back after I DM'd them on Twitter, and then got me to the hurdle coach. And then after that, I mean, we just had great conversations. And at that time, we couldn't go on visits, so I had to go on virtual visits. All that. I had to take a leap of faith. And I was like, they have a great program. I study accounting. They have a great business program and all that. And I love the coaches. Why not? Why not do it? And it's in a big city. And I've never been to Chicago before. Before that, actually, I went to Chicago for a football camp, maybe before my freshman year of high school. But that's it. Like I don't really remember anything from Chicago. So I'm like, why not? Let's do it. And after that, I signed, I think 2020 in November. It's in November. I don't remember the date, but it was November.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, okay, let's go out there and run senior season. Give them something to hope for. See why they signed me. And after that, I ran 1380, one state in the 110s. And then boom, now I'm here.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the transformation that has happened over at the athletic center. Obviously we've got every team now has their own locker rooms.
Yes.
What's that like, and what's the feel of you, the team, now that you have your own space in the athletic center?
Oh, we're about to love it. It's awesome because like I've never really had a locker room and all that. So like just waiting to see it and look at it and just like have my own like space and stuff. We have our own showers and stuff. Like I'm happy. Then the fuel station looks better. Like all that. Like it's just the fact that Dwayne's been able to do this in the past 4 years. Because when I got here, none of this was like it was just AC athletic center. Now we got a big weight room. The volleyball courts look so much better. They got a jumbotron in there now. Like it's starting to like I feel like when people come on visits and look at the Paul, like oh, like they're doing this, like he's renovating. Like we're stepping up in the right direction. Like I've been seeing our track program go from here and now we're entering phases of what Coach Doug Place says. The show keeps going, and the way we're moving as an athletic program, I think it's a really great program.
No, that's great. And too, like the recovery space and all that stuff. I mean,
Yes,
that's got to be huge
love it.
for athletes, especially when you do something so explosive as sprints and hurdles. So,
Yes.
uh, what's something that DePaul fans should know about Darius Brown that they might not know yet?
That my favorite pregame, well, the day before, my favorite dinner is pepperoni pizza. It doesn't matter from where. I promise you. That's what I eat before I run, and I'm gonna get my diet right this year. But I told everybody like, yeah, that's not thing we're fixing. Like I'm gonna eat pizza before I run. Like that's what I do. Like,
Hey, it's worked out to this point, so you
mhm.
can't fix what's not broken.
Yes, sir.
Um, all right. So this is your senior year. Do you
Yes,
get a
sir.
COVID year? Do you get like a fifth
No,
year or
actually, I was
no? Okay.
literally 1 year removed from that. Like, we're the first class to get 4 straight years.
Okay. All right. So this is your senior year. Big dreams, big goals ahead.
Yes, sir.
What's um what's uh what's something that you're going to do for fun this last senior year in Chicago to put icing on the cake after you win the nationals?
Ooh, ooh, that's a great question. Actually, one thing I've not thought about. I really have not been to Willis Tower. Actually, I've been almost a lot of places in Chicago. But
Do you
actually,
do
I really have a dream though. I want to get Dwayne to have me throw out a first pitch at one of the games, at either a Cubs or a Sox game. Like I haven't done it. I haven't been to one actually. I just want to throw a first pitch out. I feel like it'd be really cool. Like I
Yeah,
be
no.
seeing people do it all the time.
I mean, you win nationals. That shouldn't be that big of a lift. So hopefully we get you there.
Yes,
That'd be
sir.
sick. All right, Darius, great stuff today. I hope to have you on sometime, middle of the season, when you're getting ready for outdoor,
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll share some thoughts going into the season. And until then, thanks again for taking the time, and we'll talk soon.
No problem. Go Blue Demons, y'all, man. Yes, sir.
Pause. Great stuff. Thanks to both Drake Diener and Darius Brown for joining me to talk about what they've got going on in their careers right now. And looking forward to having Drake. I did see Drake at a practice. He came out the same day that I got to go up to Lincoln Park. It was great to meet him, great to see him there. And then Darius has indoor season coming up. So keep an eye out for him there. He's got a big senior season ahead of him. So exciting things for DePaul Track and Field and Darius Brown especially. So before we wrap up and before we let you guys go, or before I let you guys go, we'll have more frequent episodes here coming up as we get closer and closer to basketball season. I will be over at Media Day on Monday, and then the following week I will have I'll have an interview with DePaul Athletic Director Dwayne Peavy. It's always great to have him on. I always look forward to our conversations and sharing those with you all. So I will keep you guys all posted as those are released, as always. But until next time, Blue Demon Nation, go Blue Demons.